And we had the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni saying something has changed after now more than 2 years of this devastating war. There is finally a shift and peace seems possible. How hopeful are you that there is going to be a peace deal with Russia and Ukraine? It's the one big conflict, other than what's happening in the Middle East, that Trump hasn't been able to do much about until this point.
You know, I'm immensely hopeful because I know the American people didn't just elect a commander-in-chief in Donald Trump, but they elected a deal-maker-in-chief. This is a man who literally wrote the book, The Art of the Deal, and he is showing us in real time what that actually looks like. If anyone can bring peace to this conflict, it's going to be President Trump. And you ask me, do I feel hopeful? I feel a lot more hopeful today than I ever did under Joe Biden when he was in the White House.
Now, I want to ask you about a saga that's involving the New Yorker, a magazine you're very well aware of, after they really did a hit piece on you, suggesting you were having some white supremacist MAGA party when they cropped out all the people of colour from the picture. But they've got another saga at the moment with a writer called Doreen St. Felix who called Sydney Sweeney an Aryan princess. Well, this supposedly anti-racist writer has in fact posted some virulently racist statements. She has said things like, "Whiteness fills me with a lot of hate, and the Holocaust is the worst thing to happen to black people." How is the New Yorker handling this controversy?
You know, it's absolutely disgusting, but oftentimes, you know, it's actually part of the course. We see that a lot of these people who are quick to point out that you're racist and they're racist are often the true racists themselves, as is shown by this entire saga. Will the New Yorker actually punish her in any real way? Remains to be seen. They didn't actually punish the writer who wrote the defamatory piece about me, so I actually don't hold out much hope for that. But what I will say is that stories like this are exactly why so many people, not only here in America, but across the world, are losing faith rapidly in the corporate media, and there doesn't seem to be any chance that they'll be regaining it anytime soon.
Well, it's just so blatantly hypocritical, isn't it, to hold yourself up as some sort of anti-racist warrior when you are spewing this racist diatribe on a fairly consistent fashion. There were plenty of other statements I could have quoted there. And with the New Yorker, I know you've got a legal action proceeding against them. Any update on that?
You know, we're fully, you know, completely charging ahead on this, and as we see, it's needed. It continues to be needed because Brock Collier, the reporter who wrote the piece about me, is not alone. We also see that his colleagues share a lot of the sentiments. And, you know, what's interesting to me is that people wonder, why do these people continue to misunderstand Trump's America? Why do they continue to misunderstand, you know, the other half of this country? They don't misunderstand half of this country. They hate half of this country. And the sooner you actually realize that, it actually all makes sense about why they speak the way that they do about all of us.
Now to a story in today's New York Post. They report Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has pulled the security clearance of 37 current and former officials for the part they played in the Russian collusion hoax. CJ, this is just another step, another development in holding those who abuse public trust and deliberately push misinformation accountable.
You know, exactly is that. And, you know, God bless Tulsi Gabbard for being the position that she is and bringing accountability to a place that is desperately needed. I think a lot of people have lost faith in our intelligence community, which is actually very counterintuitive. If there's anyone we should be able to trust, it should be our intelligence community. And so these people who abuse their positions, abuse their powers, and actively subvert it, you know, the rule of law and weaponize government against, you know, again, half of America should be held to account. And Tulsi Gabbard is doing just that with this latest move.
Before you go, do you expect to see the likes of the former CIA Director John Brennan or FBI Director James Comey actually face criminal charges? There's reports they're under investigation. We've got James Comey unravelling. He's posting these bizarre videos about Taylor Swift that are rather creepy. Do you see some real accountability happening at some point?
God willing. And, and I'll tell you this, if Pam Bondi is able to secure that, JD Vance might have some competition in 2028.
Well, could be a good ticket, JD Vance and Pam Bondi. That would be a formidable ticket right there. CJ Pearson, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Still to come, the media coverage and cries of racism over the plan.